It's been a while since I've made a video with glasses. And I'm sorry about the glare, but like my new contacts still haven't come in. It's taking forever. It's very annoying. And sadly, if I take them off, like I can't see anything, so we're just gonna power through. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my wrap-up. I'm actually doing a wrap-up this month, a little late. I know we're kind of in the middle of May, but I haven't really been reading any books in May. I think I kind of burned myself out. So I've just kind of been taking it slow. Right now I'm rewatching all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine because if you follow me anywhere else on the internet, you know that's like my show, and we had like a near cancellation and I was freaking out, and then it like got picked up by NBC, and I swear those were like the most stressful, like what, like 30 hours of my life maybe. Like it was an experience, but it got picked up and I'm excited and I'm rewatching it. So I haven't really been reading much, but I did read 7 books last month. For all of these, I listened to their audiobooks. Like I mentioned, I've been really into audiobooks lately, but I do have 6 physical copies with me, and then the 7th I just listened to on Hoopla. I finished off the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, Gathering of Shadows, which is the 2nd book, and A Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd book in the series. Absolutely adored it. If you guys watched my previous 2 videos, you know that I mentioned that this is like one of my new all-time favorite series. You can tell I kind of loved it and just devoured it. This one I didn't tab as much because I was really into the audiobook and I kind of listened to it sneakily at work, so it's not like I could, you know, take the book out and start tabbing things. So I'm probably gonna reread this sometime in the near future. Maybe just reread a few of my favorite parts. I've been doing that a lot lately since I haven't really been reading new books this month. I've kind of just started going back and rereading my favorite passages of a lot of my favorite books, so I may do that just to like tab it more. I loved it a lot. This is such a great trilogy. If you are a fan of kind of more character driven novels, I would highly recommend this. I've already mentioned this, so I'm not really gonna get into the synopsis. I think like you guys kind of already know what it's about if you watch my last 2 videos. Plus also I'm always the worst at trying to make this sound good. Like any book that I fall in love with, I'm always like, okay, no, you have to listen. It's about this and this and this, and it's like all over the place. I can't make it sound enticing because I'm so excited about it. Is that a thing? Anyway, I really love this. I'll have links for everything in the bottom if you want to, you know, actually see the synopsis. I always post Goodread links. After that, I actually read this one in between those 2, but I just wanted to mention those 2 together. I finally read GRACELING by Kristin Cashore. This is a book that I've had for years. I've heard amazing things about this for a really long time. It's always been like hailed as like one of the like really great fantasy books. Like if you are a fan of fantasy, basically this is kind of, well, at least to me it always seemed like this is one of the like series you should get into, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I would, but I'll get into that. Let me tell you what this is about. So this follows a girl named Katsa who has been graced with the power to kill. Basically in this world, people develop certain talents which they call graces. The thing about graces though is that they're very tailored to the person. So while Katsa has like the ability to kill, there can be someone who is graced with the ability to sing, someone who is graced with like the ability to garden. She becomes the professional assassin of the king, who happens to be her uncle, I believe. Like this happens really early on in the beginning of the book, so it's not a spoiler or anything. She is out to save this old man, and she comes across another graceling named Poe, whose grace is basically combat skills. Like he is a really great like fighter. Certain things happen. Later on she ends up finding out he's not exactly who she thought he was in the beginning, and things just kind of go from there. Like I said, this wasn't really something that I expected. I did really enjoy it. I think it is a very solid start to a fantasy series, and I do really want to continue on just because I want to know more about the other characters. This is a trilogy. They're more like companion novels, so each book follows a separate character, but I'm assuming that like the characters from the previous books will still kind of show up, hopefully, or at least be mentioned. I do kind of want to know what happens to Poe and Katsa. Like I want to know what happens. I did really enjoy it, but like I said, it wasn't my favorite. I liked the relationship between the 2 main characters. I enjoyed Katsa as a character, and I really liked her development throughout the book, because in the beginning she is Like, I mean, she's like a badass assassin and stuff, but like she is kind of taken advantage of. You see her very much develop into like this strong character who's just like, fuck everything else. Like, I'm gonna do what makes me happy. And Poe, I really like how he helped get her out of her shell a little bit, and I don't know, I just really like them together. I did really like the audiobook also, by the way. The audiobook was a cast narration, so they had different people playing different parts in the book, and I really enjoyed that. So if you're looking for a good like fantasy audiobook, I recommend that one. Following that, I finally read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm gonna admit, going into this, I was very, very wary because I think the last Holly Black book that I tried to read was, sorry, I like took back. The last Holly Black book that I tried to read was The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, and I think that was like maybe the first book I ever DNF'd. So for this, like, I saw so many people were just obsessed with it and loving it, and I've heard really, really amazing things, so I decided to just go for it. I was in the mood for fantasy again, and I got it, and then I started listening to it, and oh my god, I was hooked. Like, right from the beginning, I was fully immersed in this story. I cared about the characters, and I just finished it, and like, I'm dying to get the second book. So this follows a girl named Jude who is taken when she is a little kid. I believe she's like 6 years old or something, along with her twin sister and her older sister, to the court of the Fae. I don't want to say why, but she gets taken to the court of the Fae, and she is forced to live as a human among fairy kind, and basically she has to maneuver her way as a human through fairyland, through the court of the Fae. I don't know, how do you say that? Which is not easy. She is often abused, belittled, almost killed on multiple occasions. I don't know how to describe this because it's really not what I expected. Like, when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's gonna be a romance because obviously, like, there's this asshole prince who hates her. It's like a hate to love kind of situation, which I think might still be the case, but it was very much not what I expected. I love Jude as a character because I think that she's very intelligent, and I loved seeing her really step out of her comfort zone, and she essentially learned how to play these people, or these fairies or whatever. Freaking Carden, Prince Carden, can we just talk about him for a second? He's a little turd, but I was kind of cheering him on. Like, he's a piece of work, let's be honest, but I can see why he is the way he is, and I'm very excited about book 2 because I do think that he's gonna show some growth as a person. Maybe he'll still be trash, but maybe he'll be, you know, recyclable trash. There's something to work with. Get what I'm saying? Anyway, highly, highly recommend this. I really enjoyed it. Not what I expected at all, but good. Next, I have Daughter of the Pirate King. Yes, I did mention this earlier on. It's a reread. I went back just to like reread a few of my favorite passages, and I kind of just reread the whole thing again. It's really great. Highly recommend it. It follows Elosia, the daughter of the Pirate King, as she is captured by an enemy ship. Or captured, I should say, because that was kind of her plan all along, to discover this map to secret treasure. You guys already know this is like my most unexpected love for this year. I highly, highly recommend this series, or this duology. It's only 2 books. Only 2 books. I wish there was more. Like, this is one of those series that I actually wish there were more books. Also, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, so be warned, but it has my favorite situation. I don't know how often this happens in books. It happens a lot in like anime. Particularly the one that I'm thinking of is like the Inuyasha situation. If you guys have ever watched Inuyasha, the second movie, what is it? The Glass Castle one, you know, with the evil lady with the mirror. What's it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking out, but you guys know which one it is, right? And like Inuyasha's kind of losing his soul, he's losing his humanity, and he's starting to turn full demon, and then Kagome just like goes and like kisses him. She's the person who pulls him out of it and brings him back his humanity. You know what I'm talking about? That's one of my favorite situations ever. Honestly, if you guys have any other books where that happens, or any other TV shows, movies, like whatever, I love that. Like, I love that so much. There's something about it where like one character is kind of like going into the darkness, becoming a monster, and then this one person kind of pulls them back into the light and brings back their humanity, and it's just, oh, it gets me like right in the feels, and I love it. And like I said, this happens in this to some capacity. I'm not gonna spoil anything, although I feel like I might have kind of a little, but please read this. It's so good, guys. The Scallywagathon is coming. I have my TBR. I'm gonna film my TBR later today, probably. This is a really good option for that. So, pirates! It's exciting if you're doing the Scallywagathon. This one's really good. And it's only $6 on Amazon right now. And the second book is less than $10. Okay, anyway, I talked about that enough for the last few videos. No, not really. I'm gonna keep talking about it forever more, probably. Finally got my copy of Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. So this is equal to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. We all know this. We love Simon. You guys know I absolutely adore Simon. This follows Leah, who is Simon's best friend, get her story for their senior year of high school. To be honest, I didn't love it. I'm so sad that I didn't love this book. I was so excited about it. Leah, first of all, is a badass. I know a lot of people had kind of a lot of problems with her from Simon Versus because they thought she was a bit of an ass. I do think she was a bit of an ass. However, I do think that her attitude in Simon at least made sense to me because it did feel like it was justified. Like, you know, she's a little bit testy that like her best friend isn't really trusting her as much, and she feels like she's being pushed back compared to her other friends and stuff, and that felt realistic to me, and I didn't really mind it as much as a lot of other people did. However, going into this book, like there's so much that just didn't make sense to me in terms of the characters that I fell in love with. Simon Versus. Leah was still a little bit of a butt, but I felt like I didn't really see her develop as a character towards the end. There was a lot of stuff that didn't make sense to me, particularly the main ship. I know a lot of people love them, and I do want to make it clear that if you love this book, if it meant something to you, like this is one, maybe like the only book really that has gone like super mainstream, featuring like a fat bisexual main protagonist. Like, that's amazing. If that means something to you, if it touched you, if you love this book, like by all means don't let what me, like a dumb person on the internet, says about this book to change that for you. This book has touched so many people and it has become so important to so many people, and I don't want to take away from that. And great, my freaking really okay, let me close my window, hold on. He's literally cutting grass like right below my window. Okay, so for me, I felt a really like huge disconnect between the characters from the first novel to this novel, and I think my main issue, like I said, was the main ship. I don't really know how to talk about this without spoiling anything, so I'm gonna try, but just be warned, if you want to know nothing about this, if you don't want to be spoiled, I think it's better if you like skip forward, and then if you want you could come back and listen to my thoughts about it, and if not, then you know, it's fine. I had an issue with it because it felt very unrealistic to me. Okay, so Leah's crush was very apparent to me, especially after my like second reread of Simon Versus, and I could see it. I could see where that was going. However, I was hoping that this book would be kind of a acknowledgement of the crush, but then there would be someone else in the picture that kind of came along and they end up getting together. Does that make sense? I knew that Leah was gonna end up with another girl. Okay, like that's not the issue here. I just didn't like that it seemed like the friendships were kind of thrown under the bus for the sake of the new relationship. It didn't feel very realistic to me. It didn't really fall into place with like the people that like we were presented with in Love, Simon. Does that make sense? Am I explaining this properly? I think I would have felt better about it. Like, it still wouldn't have been my favorite thing, but I would have felt better about it if there had been some repercussions to what happened at the end. It kind of all seemed to happen, and then there was no repercussions to anything, and they just kind of all lived happily ever after, and like fuck their friendship. Like, no, they go off to college and they're happy. And like, yeah, I know a lot of people can say that like, oh, it's just like high school, you know, like you're going off to college, like who cares about your high school friends? But like, these people have been friends since they were children. Like, I have friends who like I've been friends with since literally like we were born, since like we were toddlers. Like, I would never do anything to like harm those people. Like, hell, even the people that I've been friends with since high school, like this is not something that like you do to your friends if you're really close to them, like they apparently are in Love, Simon, and it just felt very kind of not great to me, and that's like the one thing that annoyed me the most. I did also want to bring into light, there was some criticisms that came forward about the buy rep, which I'm not going to comment on because I don't feel like that's my place to comment on those particular issues. I link like the reviews that I can find down below for you guys to check that out if that's something that concerns you. I don't want to get into that because I don't feel like I'm the person to start that conversation. So like I said, I'll have links down below if you are interested in checking that out. Last book that I read, I'll put it here because like I said, I listened to it on audiobook. It was Losing It by Cora Carmack. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for a while. Honestly, the main reason why I didn't read it was because the premise sounded a little sketchy to me, even though I've heard amazing things about it, and Cora Carmack in particular, like I've heard really good things about her. This is a book about a girl who decides to lose her virginity to a stranger one day because she is sick of being the last virgin in her friend group. Like I said, that kind of put me off for a bit because it felt very much like, first of all, the whole virginity concept thing and like feeling like you don't belong. It seemed like she was losing it, haha, the book title, for all the wrong reasons, and it just felt very to me, you know? That being said, I kind of jumped into it because I was just in the mood for something fast, and I saw the audiobook on Hoopla, and I think the audiobook was only like 6 hours long, which I listened to my audiobooks on like 2 times speed, so it would have been like 3 hours. I was like, okay, good. I need a super fast, fun, like book that I just like, I don't have to think about very much for. So I jumped into it, and I actually was very, very, very pleasantly surprised by it. The whole virginity thing, like, yeah, it comes up, but it doesn't go down like I thought it would. And like I said, it's very fun, it's very fast-paced. Don't go into it expecting like this big story arc that'll like be meaningful and touch. Like, it's a smutty, romance, fun, fast-paced book. Go into it thinking that and you'll be fine. Like I said, it was really cute and fast-paced, and I really enjoyed it. It was what I needed. So I actually am thinking about maybe listening to the companion novel now, because like I said, I haven't really been reading much, and I feel like I need something like fast-paced and fun to kind of get me started again. So I may listen to like the second audiobook. So that is going to be it for this video. Those are all the books that I read. Please let me know if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything about any of the books that I mentioned. And that's gonna be it for now. I will see you guys next time with the book haul, and then after that with the Scallywag-a-thon TBR, because I'm participating and I'm excited. And like I said, if you're participating, this book, I'm gonna keep pushing this book to you guys for the next few months, because I swear like not enough people have read this and it's so good. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna go now. Bye guys.